Welcome back, Simps. Oh, sorry, I mean Chimps. I keep doing that every video. Welcome back to the Chimp MMA YouTube channel. Today we are going to preview Daniel Cormier versus Stipe Miocic, UFC 252, and I'll also be playing as them on UFC 4. Now, let me just change the settings. Yes, Stipe versus DC. I've been waiting for this fight ever since DC lost. I mean, he's one of my favorite fighters, and the fact that he lost to Stipe in the second fight upset me, because I don't think he should have lost the second fight. He was winning up until the third, and you know, he just got tired. It is what it is. But Stipe versus DC tonight is gonna be epic. It's a shame there's no fans. Oh, this guy's just gotta wrestle me, isn't he? Yeah, it's a shame there's no fans in attendance. But you know, this fight is more interesting than the previous two, because they both got a win over each other. They both finished each other. You know, you couldn't get a better end to both of the fights. Now this fight, you have Stipe looking forward to landing the body shots again, but then DC clearly has probably worked on them, so he has to find new ways to beat DC. But the cage, the story of this fight is that the cage is 5 feet smaller, I believe. Some people are saying it favors DC because of the grappling exchanges. And if DC ends up just grappling him for 5 rounds, I wouldn't be surprised. He has to do what he has to do to win. I mean, in the second fight, when DC wrestled Stipe and took him down, he was controlling him. You could see the difference in wrestling levels between the two. Daniel Cormier had the much more superior wrestling than Stipe, and you know, you could just tell. But you know, Stipe is not a guy that just gets wrestled and gets pounded out on the ground. You know, he knows how to keep standing. He's got good wrestling himself. We've seen that with Francis when he beat Francis. I mean, I think DC is gonna win, and I want him to win. But if Stipe wins, I wouldn't be surprised. They're both as good as each other. They're both elite fighters. But I believe DC beats him by dominant wrestling. I feel like he'll go for the knockout finish. Oh, good shot. I feel like he'll go for the knockout finish, but also he does have good submissions. So if he goes for submissions, I believe it'll be easier for him. Oh, finally a takedown. Oh, get stuffed. Superman punch. Sorry, as I was saying, I believe he will look for the finish, but the first opportunity he gets for a submission, he'll take it without a shadow of a doubt. And if Stipe were to beat DC, I believe it would be by TKO again. You know, while DC, I believe if DC were to lose, he would focus too much on the body. He'd be protecting his body so much that Stipe would find openings to the head and just end up connecting with a good shot. Oh, this guy's tough. Oh wow.
Switching stances here.
I just can't wait for this fight. Sorry if I'm not speaking sometimes, because I'm just concentrating on the match here. But yeah, that's how I feel both these fighters are gonna win. You know, what happens after they win? Well, if DC wins and retires, Stipe is 100% gonna fight for the title next, and it should be against Francis. I mean, how can you deny him? One of the scariest heavyweights of all time. You can't deny him. He wants his revenge against Stipe. But this is my problem. If DC wins and Stipe does get a title shot after, and wins the title after he loses to DC, could you really call him a real champion? I mean, this is the same problem DC faced with John Jones. not many people wanted to believe DC was a real champion because of the whole John Jones situation. And I feel the same about Stipe. If he loses, then wins the title straight after, is he really a real champion? Of course he's a phenomenal fighter. Of course he was a champion, and he is still a champion, sorry. Of course he's one of the best heavyweights in the world. But when you lose to a guy, then he vacates it, then you win it again. That's got to hurt a little bit. That's got to sting. That's got to stay in the back of your mind. So it would be better if Stipe wins, just for the legitimacy of the title. But if Stipe does win, it will be a very sad end to DC's career. A phenomenal career, to be honest. A legend in the game, one of the greatest of all time. If Stipe wins, he's got a lot of challenges ahead. A lot of challenges. You know, what's his name? Curtis Blades, Francis, maybe Santos or Rosenstrike. Yeah, comment. I'd like you to comment down below who you think is going to win that fight, and comment how you think they'll win it. Now to the next fight, the co-main event, Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera. Now this fight is going to answer a lot of questions. In my last video, I discussed if Sean O'Malley is just a hype train, if he's really the real deal, and we will find out tonight, ladies and gentlemen, against Chito Vera. Chito Vera is not an opponent to joke about with. He's a legit opponent for Sean O'Malley. And if Sean's able to beat him, not just beat him, but beat him in spectacular fashion like he's ended his last few fights, then it will propel him. It'll propel him closer to the top 10. Hopefully he'll fight for the title. But if Chito Vera does beat him, oh, he's got him in submission. If Sean O'Malley loses, people are just gonna end up calling him a hype train, a hype job. They'll say they knew it, he wasn't all that good. Because that's what happens when guys with a lot of hype loses. Unfortunately, everyone loses interest in them. But hopefully it doesn't happen to Sean O'Malley. Which leads me to my prediction that Sean O'Malley will end this fight via TKO. I believe will come in the second round, because you know Marlon Vera isn't an easy guy to take down, isn't an easy guy to beat, as I should say. And this guy's just gonna stay on top of me, pounding like a little girl. 10 seconds left. And if Chito Vera does beat Sean O'Malley, I believe it will just be by submission. He would expose his ground game. He would expose him on the ground and just dominate him there. But I don't believe that will happen. I feel like Sean O'Malley's stand-up is way too good and way too clean. Way too clean to be beaten by Marlon Vera. Hopefully Sean O'Malley gets through him, because I really want him to win. I don't want him to just be another hype job. He's got a lot of potential. I mean, he's so recognizable just by his fight style and his look with the collared hair. Oh, now it dropped again. This is not. It's harder than you think trying to speak about a certain topic while playing at the same time. I never knew how hard it could be, because usually I just record my fights, then I commentate over them. But I got a new mic, so I'm just doing it all together. It's just quicker for me. On overhand. Yeah, overall UFC 252 is a very great card, very stacked. You know, from John Dodson all the way up to DC and Stipe. It's stacked. Jairzinho Rosenstrike versus Junior Dos Santos. I mean, come on, man. Rosenstrike struggled against Overeem. I believe he got so lucky in the last 4 seconds of that fight. he was getting dominated, and then Francis Ngannou knocked the lights out of him. And now he's going up against the legend Junior Dos Santos. I find it hard to believe for JDS to lose to this guy. I mean, as you can tell, I'm not really a fan of him for some reason. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because of his lucky win against one of my favourite fighters, Alistair Overeem, and how cocky he was. Well, I don't know if you thought he was cocky, but I thought he was cocky going up against Francis. You know, the way he was speaking about him. Then he gets knocked out in like, I don't know, 20 seconds. Yeah, I believe JDS makes very quick work of him. Sorry, not quick work of him, but he pieces him up, he dominates him. If he doesn't get the finish, I believe he'll just outclass him for 3 rounds. 3 rounds straight. I was surprised it wasn't the co-main event, but it makes sense to promote Sean O'Malley. Yes! Wow. What a knockout, ladies and gentlemen. That was so unexpected. Yeah, as I was saying, I believe JDS will beat him by decision, a very dominant decision, 3 rounds, you know. So yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Comment down below your predictions, who you want to fight, who you want to win their fights, and just, yeah, like and comment. Make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, where I post interviews with fighters. I post videos and images and MMA news. That's basically where I post most of my stuff. So make sure you go follow me on Instagram, Chimp MMA. Yeah, that's my predictions and preview of the card. DC by stoppage, any stoppage, TKO, submission. Sean O'Malley by knockout in the 2nd round, and Junior Dos Santos by a 3-round domination. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out.